I'm Ian Rush and you're watching the Redmen TV.
Well, welcome to Redmen TV. It's an Uncensored match build-up show. Liverpool are in Europa League action in the round of
16
against Manchester United. What? Chris Pajak's here. Aubrey Reynolds is here. Let's get into it. Chris.
Oh, Paul!
What a ridiculously massive game.
I have been buzzing for this since the draw was made, mate. You know, I did some stuff with United People's TV last week, and the two of us were just like, we were both so happy about the draw. I mean, there was a bit of a split on social media and stuff the day the draw happened, with people going, oh no, I can't believe we got Man United. I'm like, we've never played Manchester United in European competition in our entire history. This game is, for me, and I said this to somebody last week, is, you know, when Liverpool talk about European nights, Saint Etienne and stuff like that, this is going to be bigger than all of them. This is the biggest game Liverpool have had, in my opinion, since at home anyway in Europe, since the semi-final in 2005 against Chelsea, because United are a bigger opponent for us than Chelsea were then. Yeah. And, you know, that was the start of something then.
It makes the Europa League relevant, doesn't it?
This is a bigger tie than any of the Champions League quarters.
Yeah, I suppose Arsenal, Barcelona are kind of like...
But this is a rivalry tie.
I actually, in my head, I was listening to you then, I was going to say, for the one time, the Europa League is going to trump the Champions League because this is a big... And I thought, maybe not on a global scale, Arsenal, Barca.
It doesn't help that, as you said, we've said this in the past, that like we're relatively where Liverpool and Man United are in the league. But you're right, Chris. You know, in terms of the history and the animosity, you know, between the you know, these are two of the biggest clubs in world football and in the history of world football as well. And you're right, and I think you're dead right on that. There's what it does for the Europa League.
There's a lot of people who just don't watch. You're kind of burnt out from the weekend football, or especially when it's in a week where you've got the Tuesday and the Wednesday Champions League games as in the lead into it. And you kind of go, you know, do I really want to watch some Turkish team against an English team if you're not a supporter of Liverpool or of United or whatever? Whereas on this time, there's no one not watching that. Yeah.
Somewhere,
it's huge.
Somewhere right now, the guy who sanctioned BT's bid for the Europa League stuff is sitting back with a big smile on his face and his feet up, probably getting sucked off by someone or whatever. Like, because, you know, well done, you've looked out there, like, because the Europa League generally doesn't get good for at least another round, two, often.
Yeah. Sometimes it just doesn't get good.
Or it doesn't get good, you know, unless you're just a Seville fan, like. But it's you know, amazing. What a massive game. And I share your excitement, Chris. I think when the draw came up, we had a little chat about it, and I was a bit. If we were going to get United, I kind of fancied it in a semi. Or, you know, something like that. Not the final, because they'd never let us back into European competition ever again. But, you know, and I said this a few years back when it nearly happened in the semi-finals. But I fancied a Valencia or someone like that, just to have a decent trip, get another couple of games under our belt, blah blah blah. But you turn me around on it big time. It's massive. You know, for every reason you said already, plus just the potential if we could win it, of just sticking it in their fucking faces.
I've seen Liverpool sides over the years play against opposition that are deemed to be not as good as us. Mm-hmm. And I've seen us fuck it up far too many times. I just want to play someone who's fucking good, and I want to have a game this season where something's on the fucking line again.
But since we didn't draw Valencia, we've got Man United.
Yes, it's true. But look, you know, I loved the cup final day, apart from the fact that I was ridiculously ill and the result. But the build up to those days are incredible because you've got something on the line. Having a game on a Thursday night that is just the point of your week. Everything points towards that game and what's going to come from that game. And the reason that I think it's a bigger tie than anything in the Champions League now is those Champions League games are done.
Well, yeah,
most of them, they're all done. Yeah. You know, Arsenal aren't coming back against Barcelona. They're rubber fucking dead rubber or whatever you want to say. This is a fucking genuine.
What are you going to say?
I don't know. I do
rubber
not know.
duck.
Rubber duck, I think, was probably where I was going with it, and I'm kind of glad I pulled out. I wish you'd not fucking forced me back into that corner.
pulled out like Damien Delaney there, mate.
Pulled out rubbers. Where's this going to go in your brain?
Slick condoms. So there's loads of things that I just can't wait for this game, and it's massive, man. And the momentum.
I'm just going to temper this though. There is still the Europa League, so the Europa League still contains the potential to spoil this all and have this be massively drab as a result.
The thing is, again, I'm sure we'll talk about it a bit more, but just the momentum of winning this, and I'm nervous for it because I've seen, even though LVG has had United be shit and other teams have beaten them, we haven't.
Yeah.
So that is a massive thing, but there's a chance for us to rectify that because we get to play them again. Not only do we get to play them again this season, we get to play them twice because they've done us twice and they're shit. Don't have it be said. Now, we were shit when we went and played them. Because
they are less shit than us, to be fair, but yeah, shit nevertheless.
Hey, potentially not. You know, we're a game behind them and we're only 3 points behind. We could be equally shit.
I also think that I think they're much shitter than us. I think we're more inconsistent than them, but they've not turned the team over the way we turned City over in 2 games this year. You watch them this year, they're awful. They've played well 4 times. They've won the games and not played well a lot. You know, they've ground out results, but their fans aren't happy. We can point to Chelsea away, City at home, Southampton away of actually good performance where it all clicked. And you go, okay, we're not great. We might even finish 7th or 8th, but there was sparks of a really good team there with passing, move, and attacking football. They've got nothing like that this year. They were fucking celebrating drawing 3-3 away at Newcastle, or was it 2-2? Because they got more than 1 goal in a match. And that's how far they've fallen. But they have that pragmatic still elements of United of turning results around. But ultimately, right, we should have beaten them this year. We should have beaten them at Anfield. Yeah. That game should have been a victory to us, and it wasn't. So that's what makes me fucking terrified for Thursday, because it might be the other way.
Well, this is why I love it, though, because we got beaten by Man City in the cup final. We went back and we fucking... Yeah.
There's a couple of things I think bode well in that regard. Is that, I think that Klopp will be itching to do it, and I think, to be fair, he was itching to beat Palace, and it took a massive slice of luck to get us over the line on that one. But I think he's got a point to prove in this game. He'll absolutely love it. And you know, the fact that it is that big occasion should bode. I
think it'll bode massively well for us. And I think part of that's, most of the time you say, convention says it's better to have the second leg at home.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's scary, isn't it?
I actually think right now, for where we are and for where both sides are, the form that they're in and the struggles that they've had as a squad and stuff is, I think we could freeze their kids at Anfield, because these guys will never have played in an atmosphere like we're gonna show on Thursday evening. You know, the likes of Rashford and stuff like that. I'm literally hoping, and they might prove me wrong, but I am hoping that they freeze under the spotlights and the noise. It's going to be a fucking bear pit of an atmosphere at Anfield, and there's going to be so much hate for Man United and love for Liverpool that these guys aren't going to know what hit them. But what I will say to temper that is, if their players, their young guys, can perform well under that, they don't have anything to worry about for the next few years, because that's where you're going to find out. That's the litmus test, isn't it, for these players?
Absolutely. It's like can I just ask a question? What would a bear pit sound like?
Have you ever seen The Revenant?
No.
I have.
There is a scene in that sounds pretty much like what I expect a bear pit to sound like.
Is there a pit of bears?
No, there's one bear.
There's one bear. There's
several of that.
There's lots of screams
and
stuff like that.
Like that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Basically, cool. Okay, so I'll have a bit of that.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I think we should probably just draw a line of the whole show there, and everyone should go away and practice their bear noises. I think what we discussed prior to the last game against United, and ultimately I wasn't quite right on the day, that I felt that Liverpool and Man United were at a crossing point, and I described it as like crossing on the stairs. Is that I felt that we were. I felt like the. Suck it, titty, fuck vagina. I feel as though Liverpool are making incremental steps upwards, where at the minute Man United, look, their fans are in absolutely up in arms. They don't like the manager, don't like the style of football. They haven't really got an identity. They're struggling for that. they don't know who's going to be taking over next season. If anyone else is taking over, they could still be stuck with Van Gaal for another season. So I do feel like if they're not necessarily on the decline, I think I think if you pulled back and took a sample data, they're absolutely on the decline because they were so high up that they can't help but be on the decline because Ferguson had them at the pinnacle of football. But yeah, they are at the very least stagnant. And I hope that even though we're not exactly meteorically shooting up, I do feel like we're doing that. And I just hope this is that point where even if we are just one step above them on the stairs come the end of this, that bodes massively well. But for the future and for this season, I hope that's where we are.
I think you're right. I think we are in a better place. I think our fans are happy with our managers. Our fans are happy with the way that the club are moving. Whereas you can't say that about Manchester United. There might be a few who are happy with the way that the club's performing.
That were going round from their fans with the 15 minutes to go against West Brom when Rondon scored, and it was like, we've lost this game. Yeah. So I'll meet Dan Tarley from UPTV saying like, oh, tweeting West Brom, will you be releasing the DVD of this win? I was like,
you've got 15 minutes left in
this
match.
Don't fucking troll fucking other smaller football clubs when you've got 15 minutes left to fucking pull something out of the bag in this game. Like, absolutely ridiculous. So you're right, yeah. They've got some stress on their shoulders.
The other thing that I think we should take into consideration is that, yes, we should have won that game at Anfield, but this is going to be a completely different thing. This is going to be, for me, a European football tie between the two managers. And I think there's going to be parts of the game where Blood and Thunder come out, proper British derby, Northwest derby style football, but for the most part, I think this is really going to be a real European performance. I think both teams are going to play it really tight.
Who do you think that suits better?
I think that suits us better because we've got the better manager.
No, I think it suits them better.
No, I think if we've got the better players and the better
the way
manager.
They currently play and the way that they are so slow and laboured, and whether it's Carrick, Schneider and Schweinsteiger, whoever it is, Herrera isn't breaking, they're really slow. A more European continental game suits them a bit better. Whereas I think if we can get into them, shock their younger players, because they're going to field 3 or 4 younger players and activate that energy and that drive and throw them out of it.
The reason it suits us more is because they're used to having possession, and I think we'll have a lot more possession than them at Anfield. And I think that's where the emphasis is on us then. If we leave Manchester United with the ball, I agree with you. I think they'll be comfortable and then they'll start to get into the game and claw into it and stuff like that. But I think if we can aggressively take the ball and make sure that they don't get it, then we can tire them out.
Same sort of gegenpressers against City. Come at them, who's going to do the Flanagan? Because Flanagan can't play. Need someone to come in there and do that kick.
That said, really though, I don't know that that's... Again, I don't know that that's how we'd approach this game as such. I think, we know that Man United have the ball. I think I would be more inclined for us to go more 4-4-2 or 4-5-1 or whatever, and hit them on and look to hit them on the counter. Do a proper European job, and then do what Rafa would do, almost like you mean, and let's because we know that they struggle for goals. They'll feel that they feel that load more acutely than we do. And of course, because it's on the big stage and they're still the bigger team, you know what I mean? We're still the underdog in this in this tie. I think it could favour us to play a little bit underdog like. Well, one way or the other. I mean, ultimately, if we go out and just smash them off the park, boss. But equally, I would absolutely be thrilled, overjoyed, over the moon, all those other cliches to see just win 1-0 in both legs. And just, you know what I mean?
I still think
that
a draw in this game at Anfield is still a good result for
Liverpool. As long as it's not a score draw.
Yeah, you're right. A 0-0.
They can't concede. We can't concede unless we give them 1 in a 4-1 or a 5-1. For me, where I want is we can't concede. We can't give them that because they can do the reverse of that, which is they've got the away goal, which also gives them a massive hand, and they can just go sit put everyone behind the ball and say break us down. Traditionally, we're not that good. We win this game across the two legs. We win the tie, by making them have to attack us at Old Trafford. Yeah. Now, however that works, whether it's a 0-0, whether it's a bigger mountain for them to climb, they have to be coming into the second leg going, shit, we've got to break down an organised Liverpool team. And we're not that good at that anymore. And Rooney's injured, and Martial and Depay are out of form, etc., etc. if they've got anything to hold on to, I'd be more worried for that second leg. 'Cause that's my priority from this game.
United are in crisis, Chris. Does it matter for this game?
No, I don't think it does. I mean, all the normal things will be bandied around, form book goes out the window and all of that type of stuff. And it's true, and that's why they get bandied around so often. You know, there is a fearlessness that these young players with United have been playing with, and I expect that to continue, to be honest with you, Aaron.
If that Rashford starts, I want someone to leave one in on him early doors, big time.
Yeah, do a Sterling on him.
Yeah, you know, him and Martial just basically say, welcome to Anfield. Here's a big game. Little elbow in or whatever. Just put him in the stand and say, look, go on. Let's see if you can pick yourself up. And I think what you said earlier. If they pick themselves up, fair play. Good on them.
Yeah.
You know, good on them. Enjoy, have a long, successful career. That's going to happen one way or the other. But we need to do everything in our power to see that happen. But you know, I think that Aubrey, there is that. You know, Man United fans are going to be massively depressed that, you know, coming into this game, they're not in great form and there is loads of pressure, but nothing turns around a bit of fan pressure like beating one of your biggest rivals.
Oh, definitely. And the other slight worryment for me is I think they've got players who can do something special a bit more than we have because they've got the pedigree of doing that. So you've got like Juan Mata could just do an amazing goal again. Herrera could be the game that Herrera steps up and announces himself to actually be that player. Even like your outsiders are like Depay and Martial. Whereas you look at us, I think we're a much more consistent, uniform team.
They seem to be very good at putting kids in and just them being good.
Yeah. Where does that come from? And again, it's that thing of like I hadn't thought about it before, but you're right. You'll find out whether Rashford is the new Machida, as in he came in, he got a few goals and then he never disappeared by watching him in performances like this, by watching someone knock him over, and whether he freezes and wilts in that cauldron or whether he actually has a really good game. But,
that's what I should have used.
Cauldron, good word.
But also, this show's actually working for me because I was a bit like lethargic.
Just doing it for you.
And I'm like,
getting your juices
flowing. I'm really excited for it because you know why? Klopp has heard about the Liverpool Anfield atmosphere and he's had tasters of it. We've not given it to it properly. I want us to thank him for putting us on a decent course coming in, and as fans, basically be like, mate, if you can get there, if you can get us into the Champions League every year and get us these ties that we crave, we'll give you this, fans. So we as fans need to say, here you go, mate. Look, get us. We'll help you. You get us to where we want to be, and you can have these every year.
I wanted to go back to. Do you remember the end of the 13-14 season where we booed every fucking touch from every other fucking team?
Yeah.
City's the one that stands out.
Well, this is why
we booed and hissed and just made fucking noise.
Well, this is why I'm quite happy to sit back and let them have possession because they'll want it. And I'm not sure they're necessarily amazing at breaking us down. But the more they have possession, the more we're gonna amp the pressure up and amp the noise. And I said this the other week, it's the difference between Man City at home and Chelsea at home in that season. Man City just basically crumbled because it was that cauldron, it was that ridiculous oppressive noise. We booed and hissed for 90 minutes. Then Chelsea came and just went, he's off the ball, fuck that.
Yeah.
And you can't boo your own players. It's as simple as that. Like,
I've been at Anfield many times and I massively
not for 90 minutes,
object.
I'm really tired. And
there's a guy by us that does boo for 90 minutes now. But the other thing is, Klopp's second game against Manchester United. Yeah, that's another thing. You know, Klopp's done better when we played people twice and stuff like that. So I just can't put into words how excited I am for this game.
Yeah. Quick question, because I know you should be doing the starting 11 prediction. Does Sturridge go straight back in for this game?
Well, we're going to find out whether we're both going to do the starting 11 prediction or just one of us now. I think that... Do you want to answer this first?
I think he does, personally. I think he's, as I just said, the list of United players who are big name players and got that ability. I think he's had a nice break. He's not been used at all in the Palace game. He's got to come in. He's a big player for us. He's potentially the world-class player in our squad. He will want this. He will want to announce himself back as being Liverpool's number one. Imagine him just like that little neatness that we've seen from him against West Ham and a bit against City in the cup final, jinking through and scoring 1 or 2 goals. I personally would go mad with the starting 11. I'd go to the Southampton away side and I'd start Origi and Sturridge.
Wow.
Because I don't think anyone would be fucking expecting it. I don't think LVG would be expecting it, and I think our fans would be buzzing if that team came out, and I think we could turn them over because they're not great, and we've got to exploit the fact that they're missing some. They're not great with a full team out. They're missing some key players as well.
Okay.
So
Great. Okay. So moving on, something we've started doing in recent weeks. I want to know. Again, we call it sort of man of the match prediction, but really, which Liverpool player do you think is going to be key to victory on the night, Chris?
I think it could be Adam Lallana. I think he's done really well in the Europa League all season long for us. I think he was our top scorer, certainly, at one stage during the competition for it. And I think if he starts, he's really integral. I think, you know, one of the things that's always battered at Adam Lallana is that he's not fast enough, but his first touch generally gets him space. It's the same first touch over and over. It's the Lallana turn, but it does work, and it's incredibly difficult to stop. And I think that, you know, when he's on form and he's playing in the Klopp system, I think Liverpool look a much better outfit. And I think it's this type of stage that Lallana was bought for, and I think hopefully he'll be the guy before the goal.
Okay, so Aubrey, what about you?
I had to change mine because I didn't realise it was preference as an LFC player. I was going to go with Daley Blind. Playing out of position.
You want to go with Daley Blind,
I think Daley Blind is going to have a shocker. I think playing out of position as the
perfectly
centre
honest.
I'm
half.
not sure whether this is allowed. No, this is jinxing.
I called, no, whatever, man.
Is this
I
all right?
to be fair, we called this before the last game. We were like, oh, Daley Blind's playing centre half. Get Christian Benteke on him. And,
On a different type. We're not going to start with Christian Benteke. We will play pacier players. He's made some bad decisions at the back for them. I was also thinking Lallana. I think Lallana's been really good the last two matches. And it's he just seems to be in a good position for his own personal form. He's got lots of stuff. I want to see Coutinho step up. I want to see him, and in the same logic of a Sturridge, I want him to step up and be like, yeah, you know, what he does to Man City,
do to the other
Manchester club, and announce, and even if it's, because they must all be thinking about it in the same level we are. The eyes of the world are going to be watching this, you know, like everyone around it. Come on, Phil. You know, announce yourself as a top draw player.
Oh, absolutely.
So hopefully.
How about you, mate?
I think from the Man United perspective, I actually think Martial, he obviously drew all plaudits coming off the bench,
goal.
scoring the debut goal, had Martin Tyler creaming in his undies over him, and rightly so. You know, took his goal fantastically well. We talked about it earlier and how Man United have this thing about young players coming in and just hitting the ground running for them. I think this is a big test. You know, I think he's been wasted. I watched some of the West Brom game and he's been still not being the main man. I think if they made him the main man, if they just put him up front, I think he'd cause massive problems. And I think the key to their success will come from him because he's got the ability to create chances out of nothing as well. He's got the pace and he's got the skill. He's got something, that kid, and I think he'll be integral. If he has a good game, it could swing the game one way or the other. From our perspective, we did a bit about it on the Final Word show, and they were saying how he's been lacking the X factor. He's had a lot of 6 out of 10 performances. We've seen Emre Can step up. We've seen James Milner step up. Jordan Henderson, it's time for him to step up, because I know he's playing through the pain barrier. Blah blah blah. If you can't go out and give 90 minutes of absolutely, you know, leave nothing on the pitch, run yourself into the ground, run yourself into the grave, do whatever you've got to do, Jordan. If you can't do it against Man United in a massive European game like that, then there needs to be considerations about the captain's armband as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, I think Henderson's going to be key to that. Let us know who do you think are going to be the key men? Go for both. In fact, Chris, you want to throw United one out?
As always, David De Gea.
David De Gea. Yeah, no. Yeah.
Oh, it was obvious, wasn't it? Well, we've lost that one, Paul.
Yeah, okay, Chris wins. Let us know your key men in the comments below. We'll move on to score predictions now. Aubrey.
I unfortunately think we're going to concede just to make it edgy, even though that's not what I want. But I think we're going to win it. I'm going to say 3-1.
Okay.
I think Liverpool are going to win 2-1. I think we will concede. I think we've got enough to beat them, though. It will make the second leg horrendous, but I think we'll score there as well.
Okay. It's the Europa League.
0-0, Paul.
0-0.
1-0,
0-0 or 1-0, one way or the other. It's going to be. I think it's good. It's going to be not the contest that we expect it to be, that we're talking it up to be. I think there'll still be the noise and the atmosphere and stuff, but I have a suspicion that it will Europa itself into the ground. But yeah,
Don't end it on that.
No. You know, that's yeah, I will. So yeah, let us know how you think the game's going to go. Let us know who you think are going to be the key men. Let us know your score predictions and answers to the question, of course, does Daniel Sturridge go straight in? Check out the Start 11 prediction show. Of course, these boys will be doing something or other around that, doubtless.
It might be a Crispy Chris.
Chris v Chris.
It might
if
be.
you haven't seen Chris v Chris on the Mondo Goal Show this week, do go and check that out. I can't. It's just the best thing I've literally ever seen. It's two Chris's talking to each other perfectly. Anyway, yes, right, for this camera, because why the hell not? Thank you, Simon. Yeah, we're going to wrap that up there. Thank you very much for watching this show. All your thoughts in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up. Check out some incredible content on the redmentv.com this week. We're doing the Liverpool transfer war chest, building up a war chest by selling players and deciding who Jurgen Klopp should be spending that money on in the summer.
Well, that was last week's.
Yeah, that's there.
This week it's who we're going to spend the money on.
Yeah, but that might not be up. So just go and watch that one, and then, as Chris says, go and check out the second part. 2 amazing shows in a whole host of other amazing shows. Over 300 hours of spectacalar, completely exclusive content. Go and watch it. It's amazing. What he's got is his physicality, Aubrey, and the fact that it's a different, because Gerrard, and my immediate reaction was to say he reminds me more of a young Gerrard, like pre sort of like 1999 to 2003, say.